It is the end of 2023. We made it, and you know what that means? It's time to rank our favorite movies of the year. Welcome to my top 10 best movies of 2023. This has been a damn good year for movies. I went back these past 3 weeks and rewatched a lot of these movies because I believe rewatchability is very important to movies that I dearly loved. And this year, there was a lot of great ones. I could honestly do a top 20 like I usually do, but I believe that the top 10 feels solidified as movies that I'm gonna go back and rewatch most likely. And like I said, this is my opinion, okay? So there's a lot of people in the world. We've seen a lot of movies. I didn't see every single great movie this year, but the movies I saw, I liked. So this is just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, I want to hear it actually. Leave a comment down below. Give me your top 10, top 3, top 5, whatever you saw. Just tell me your favorite movies of the year. So again, this is just my opinion. It's okay to disagree with me. Just don't get mad at me. It's just a movie. But with all that said, roll the intro, let's get this thing going.
Here's Johnny.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
Expecto Patronum!
Before getting started with my top 10 best movies of the year, I want to give you my honorable mentions, which I have 10 movies to tell you. So everyone out there, it's like, do a top 20. Well, just count this and then continue on. But here we go. We have 10 honorable mentions. We have Scream 6, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, still a Michael J. Fox documentary movie. Really good, really underrated. Beau is Afraid, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Air, Past Lives, Songbirds and Snakes, the Hunger Games prequel, The Holdovers, and finally, Poor Things. Those are my 10 honorable mentions. Those are all great movies I probably will get around to rewatching more of, but let's do it. Let's get started. Starting the list off at number 10 is a movie that a lot of you have already seen and a lot of people have a lot of opinions about. Number 10 is Barbie. I really loved this movie. I find the description of a Barbie doll being a very girl's toy, making this movie its own, being very creative, being one of the most funniest comedies of the year, while also being so dramatic to boys and girls. Barbie's is known for the girl product, but man oh man, Ryan Gosling as Ken brought the boys together, and he's gonna get nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie, which is insane. The movie is so creative. I think truly everyone has an opinion on this movie, and I love hearing it. This movie stuck with most people, and for me, it's one of those most important movies I think to come out this year for sure. At number 9 is another so-called girl movie, but hey, I loved this movie. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is one of the most criminally underrated movies of the year. From the director of Edge of 17, brings another banger of a movie. The performances everywhere in this movie are fantastic. I truly believe Rachel McAdams should and be considered for supporting actress. I don't know if it's going to happen, but this movie is loved by many everyone I've seen or talked to who have seen it love this movie. I think the acting is so good. The young girl who plays Margaret is a growing star for sure. The movie's funny, it's dramatic. It has a lot of messages about religion, young females, and just childhood growing up. I said in my review, this is one of those movies that if I would have seen when I was younger and we watched it in school because I read the book, this would have been a movie I would have loved growing up in my childhood. I loved watching this movie. At number 8 is honestly a movie I think is going to grow in the next few months because Oscars need to be looking at this movie, and I don't know if they're going to. Number 8 is The Iron Claw. This is a damn good movie. Zac Efron is going to be snubbed. I know it. He should be nominated and be considered to win it. The performances by everyone in this movie is fantastic. The story of these brothers and the father is absolutely just... You are gut punched in the entire movie, but this ending I cried for sure in. The Iron Claw is a movie that everyone I've talked to has loved, and they said it is a needed Oscar nomination for Zac Efron. This is a movie that's going to hit you hard. I don't know if it's going to hit me as hard as I wanted to the next time I rewatch it, because that first time watch, it hit me hard, and now that I know the story, I know how deep and dark the story is. I recommend this. It's in theaters right now. All right, at number 7, we got a movie that a lot of you are going to be like, really? Top 10 worthy? As a horror fan and as a huge fan of the original, Evil Dead Rise deserves to be in the top 10. Truly, arguably, one of the best, if not, horror movies of the entire year. Evil Dead just continues to put out nice product. I mean, listen, I love the cartoonish Army of Darkness fun, but the dark, gory grittiness of the 2013 Evil Dead is in this, while adding that goofiness in certain dialogue moments. This movie's gory. This movie's so much fun. The main performance of this antagonist woman, who I cannot remember the actress' name right now, she is absolutely awesome in this movie. Rewatching it, I was so in love with just the direction, the cinematography, the story, the sound design. Give me more Evil Dead, and they have already said we're not going to wait 10 years. Listen, Evil Dead is arguably the most constant horror franchise right now, up there with Scream. I can't believe I'm saying this at number 6, because there was a time, a good time, where this movie was my number 1 for a while. Number 6 is John Wick Chapter 4. If this is the last John Wick, which honestly it should be, I went out with a huge bang. I would say this is the best action movie of the year. Extraction 2 is awesome, but John Wick Chapter 4 takes all of the trilogy we've learned about John Wick and puts it in a 3-hour action fest, glorious cinematography, glorious production design, and Keanu Reeves alone is a worthy top 10 if you ask me. John Wick Chapter 4, after a while, I can honestly say I think this is the best one. I'm gonna say that. John Wick Chapter 4 is that damn good. It's compared to the first one, which is already becoming a classic. This one is even better in the action department. I love seeing this in IMAX. I loved watching it again in 4K. This is a must for action fans. All right, we're heating up. We're entering in the top 5, and at number 5 is a movie that truly could be number 1 to many, but number 5 I'm gonna put at Killers of the Flower Moon. Martin Scorsese's awesome, amazing, not masterpiece yet to many of his other masterpiece films. Martin Scorsese delivered a movie that honestly touched me in the lessons of what the Osage is and what happened in this particular story. The acting department across the board, De Niro, DiCaprio, and Gladstone, who is gonna possibly win Best Actress, her and Emma Stone, honestly. This movie just takes a 3.5-hour movie, which is why I put it just a little at number 5. That's the only thing. It is a long-ass movie. The acting's great. The story feels important. This movie feels like a movie that I want to learn off of with Scorsese's editing, directing choices. It's an inspiring movie. It's just a long-ass movie, but I loved it. And with number 4 is my favorite horror movie of the year, and number 4 is Talk to Me. Talk to Me surprised me in many ways. YouTubers directed this movie. You know how inspiring that is to me, who wants to make films one day, who's worked on many short films this past year. I am loving seeing this movie, and the inspiration in this movie has grown in me. I love the editing choices, the acting, the cinematography, the music. I mean, honestly, this movie feels like a franchise to A24, which we're getting possibly a prequel, a sequel, but this alone movie felt fresh, felt original, felt awesome. The Australians out there know how to make cool-ass horror movies, and it is my favorite horror movie of the year. It's definitely in my top 4. It's a movie that, again, rewatching it just grew on me. Okay. Top 3. And like I said, this year's been hard. Number 3, arguably to many, is the best movie of the year. It is my number 3. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is going to win many Oscars. It's possibly good chance of winning Best Picture, Best Director, maybe even Actor. Oppenheimer is a movie that everyone I've talked to loves. But the thing I'm gonna say, I said this in example to my friend the other day. He asked me about Oppenheimer. I said, it's awesome. It's really, really well made and really just a good movie. But it is 3 hours, and it is 3 hours, and still rewatching it, It's a movie that I don't know if I'm going to pop in every kind of other day. It's a movie that needs to be planned to watch, if you ask me, which is not a bad thing whatsoever. Oppenheimer has some of the best scenes of the entire year. It's not even a question. I mean, the bomb scene alone, him giving the speech to the audience is freaking terrifying. The editing, the sound design. This is probably going to win Best Picture. Oppenheimer is arguably Nolan's best movie. Oppenheimer is a classic in the making, and I'm so glad I got to see it in IMAX. And with my number 2 is a movie that has stuck with me this past month, and I continue to think about it. Godzilla Minus One. This is everything I love in movies. Big action that is really well made, with deep character development moments that is hitting you in the heart, that made me tear up, that excited me in the very next scene. This is no question after thinking about it. This is the best Godzilla movie I personally have ever seen. Taking that Godzilla character, making it frightening, making it horrendously big and nuclear in this movie was such a great idea. With these characters and the entire war aspect of this movie, it hits you in the heartstrings. The characters are so good. You want everyone to live, but this movie feels dangerous, and I love that with the great direction, the CGI, the production design. This is everything I love in big blockbuster movies, and this is what we need right now. Godzilla Minus One, there's a reason why it's number 2. This was almost number 1 for me. This movie is so awesome. I need everyone to go see this movie. I need more Godzilla of this nature. Here we are, guys, my number 1 favorite movie of the year. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, all the way back in the summertime, but I did see it 3 times in the summer, and I watched it again recently, and I said to myself, this is the best movie of the year. This is the movie I loved rewatching, and this is a movie I cannot wait to keep rewatching in the next years to come. My number 1, for the first time in a long time, is an animated movie. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is my number 1 favorite movie of the year. The storytelling is out of this world. The animation is honestly argued to be the greatest animated movie out there, if you ask me. Miles Morales' Spider-Man's story arc is absolutely gut-wrenching, hitting you in the heart. This movie tells a beautiful Spider-Man story, especially with Gwen Stacy and Haley Steinfeld's aspect of her life colliding in this third act, which is honestly heartbreaking, exciting. And a criticism I gave for this movie is a part 1 leave you hanging, and I've thought about this criticism. Back to the Future, in my opinion, is a masterpiece movie, and I love that movie, that first one especially. That movie leaves you hanging, and I call that movie amazing. So why should I be doing that in comparison? Because that movie does the same thing as this. Leaves you in the middle of a scene, leaves you hanging. I don't feel like I should do that. I loved this movie. I don't care if the story's complete. I think this is one of the greatest sequels to be ever made. That's how good this movie is. This movie is hilarious, amazing action, amazing storytelling. It's so fun. The soundtrack. I kept rewatching this movie in theaters this summer, and I came back to rewatch it on 4K. This is my favorite movie of the year. I was so entertained by it. I love these characters, and I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. And with all that said, that is it. That is my top 10 favorite movies of the year 2023. Like I said, this was a hard list. I'll give it this year. You did a good job, everybody. You made great movies, and I loved going to the theater to see most of these movies. And there's movies out there I probably missed, but hey, that's okay. Leave a comment down below and let me know your favorite movies of the year. There's so many out there. I hope you guys enjoyed my list. And you know what next is? Top 10 Worst. That'll be coming out tomorrow. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.